everybody, I'm Grant Flood from Floodsters Sports Zone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 16 of Floodsters Sports Zone. We're back to recapping the news, as I just kind of didn't want to do a live reaction today. And yeah, well, let's get into it. Usually the show's 1 from 3, I think, because I'm going to be alone today. I think it's just going to be 1 to 2. We'll see. But, yeah, let's get right into it. Next week, I plan on having multiple guests on the show if everything goes accordingly. So I will keep you updated. But of course, before we move on, just like what the intro says, go follow the Instagram, Floodsters Sports Zone, for daily sports news. I put a lot of hard work into this. This is where you get your topics. Please follow the Instagram. It is should be one of your first stops for all the major sports news in the NHL, NBA, NFL, and MLB. Well, we'll first begin with crowning a champion. And it is the same champion from last season. The Tampa Bay Lightning defeated the Montreal Canadiens 1-0 in Game 5 of the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. I was commentating it on Wednesday. Ross Colton, first career finals goal. He got the job done, 1-0. He beat the defenseman out in front, was able to poke it in the cage. And, congrats to Montreal winning second year in a row. I mean, I can't say I'm that surprised. I did have Carolina beating Tampa Bay in the second round. All right, I ain't gonna lie. I had Carolina winning. But Tampa Bay was clearly the deserved team to win. Andre Vasilevsky now 6 straight series clinching victories. Vasilevsky has gotten a shutout. This guy is already a top 15 NHL goaltender of all time. Maybe the hottest take I've said on this show, and that is pretty, Grant. He's only been a starter since 2017. What are you saying? If he retired tomorrow, Vasilevsky should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care. Which, we'll get to this right now. You won your Conn Smythe. Now, here's where I actually disagree a little bit. I think it should have been Brayden Point. Brayden Point, you don't score 9 goals in 9 straight games and not be named the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Now, listen. Did Vasilevsky deserve it? Sure. Did he get a shutout in every single series clinching game? Yes. But you gotta sometimes you gotta give the forward some love, all right? It's kind of like the same thing in 2012 when the Kings, or rather when Jonathan Quick won the Conn Smythe, when in my opinion it should have been Anze Kopitar. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the goalie played tremendous all playoffs long. Does he deserve to be in the running of the Conn Smythe? Of course, as does every single starting goalie. But to be the actual Conn Smythe Trophy winner, I had him in second behind Brayden Point. Now, I know Point kind of slowed down in the last few games of the finals, and I think that's what ultimately killed him from actually winning the Conn Smythe. But if you want my honest opinion, though, I got to give it a point. Vasilevsky in second, but, you got to give the forward some love sometimes. I guess we can continue on talking about the Finals a little bit. I'm not entirely done. Yeah, Montreal, good season. There's nowhere to but up. You, in a regular playoff format, you missed the playoffs by about 10 points. But, hey, credit where credit's due. You ran the table. You just furtherly proved that the Maple Leafs are forever cursed. They're never going to win a playoff series ever again. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but my God, I don't know what's wrong with the Maple Leafs, but you hear me rant about them get eliminated about a month ago on both Power Skate and the show. I could just slander the Maple Leafs all day long, but for the sake of Floodsters Sports Zone, I will not do that. They come in, they sweep Winnipeg. Now, here's the thing. I said the Jets would beat the Canadiens in 5. which obviously was a wrong prediction. But I'm going to be honest with you. Montreal beating Toronto. I actually have Montreal beating Toronto in 7. I got the prediction right on the button. If Montreal could beat Toronto, Winnipeg, it makes sense because they've been playing against them all year. Then you go up to a team like the Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals. You're like, okay, this is what is going on. Hold on here. Experiencing some technical difficulties. That is awesome. LAMOFO started playing from my phone. Hysterical. All right. Well, what was I saying? I mean, listen, you play against Vegas. You succeed against Vegas. And now you're in the finals. And you can't get the job done against Tampa Bay. That's nothing to be discouraged about, Montreal. You did a great job in the postseason. Again, you won the Canadian division, although obviously you didn't in the regular season. You proved come playoff time that, shockingly enough, you were the best Canadian team. And to beat Vegas, incredible. To even not get swept by Tampa Bay, incredible. And I'll tell you one thing: if Montreal won the cup, you gotta give the Conn Smythe to Carey Price, without a question. Just very unfortunate, obviously. The Canadiens losing this series was like seeing the Rangers lose to the Kings back in 2014. That 2014 was Henrik Lundqvist's chance to win the Stanley Cup. Lost in 5. Rangers kept on being a decent team, but they never made it back to the finals. Carey Price could be in the same boat. The problem is, can Montreal continue making the playoffs? The Rangers, at least, we knew the Rangers were going to be good, and they were good for another few years after that. But for Montreal, you got to hope that this isn't a fluke. For Carey Price and Shea Weber's chances of winning a ring at least. Carey Price played one of the best goaltending performances in Stanley Cup playoff history during Game 5. Losing a game 1-0 on a goal that his defenseman let the player get in front of the net and score. And Carey Price, in his post-game interview, says, I needed to play better. No! Obviously, you want to throw your offense under the bus. That's not good either, obviously. But you do not lose a 1-0 game in a cup-clinching game, technically a cup-clinching game for the Lightning, and say, oh, that was my fault. I need to play better. When he played the best he could. That's what just drove me crazy about Carey Price. But I hate to say it, I don't know if Carey Price wins the ring now. Unless he gets traded and tries to do, what Lundqvist did by joining the Capitals, or what Marc-Andre Fleury's doing, joins, the Vegas Golden Knights. Unless he joins another team who's in playoff contention, I don't know. Because here's why. Listen, can Montreal make the playoffs next year? Absolutely. Here's the problem. You're back in the Atlantic. You could beat the Red Wings, the Sabres, and the Senators. Not worried about those 3 teams. Toronto, whatever. You've shown you do well against Toronto. You may sneak in. You might be a better playoff team than Toronto. Does Montreal actually make the playoffs over Toronto in the regular season? That I'm not sure. I would honestly say they don't. Florida, same deal. Could Montreal surpass Florida? Yeah, be by tiebreakers practically, but depending on what Sergei Bobrovsky the Panthers get this year, I could see Montreal making the playoffs over Florida, but those are really it, because they have Toronto's number from last season, and the Panthers, I don't know how they're going to adjust back to the Atlantic Division either. All I know is that you still have the Lightning and the Bruins as your top 2 teams. And Montreal, they have not done well against the Bruins since pretty much when they won the playoff series back in 2014. I'd say 2015 to current. Bruins have had the Canadiens' number a lot during the regular season. Now, granted, they haven't played again in the playoffs during that span. But still, Boston heavily favored against Montreal during the regular season. Now, obviously, for Tampa Bay, this final showed that Montreal's good, but they're not great. They can't compete with Montreal for a full 7-game series. Now, obviously, when you face Lightning way less frequently in the regular season, yeah, you probably win a game or two here or there. But in all reality, I can't say with confidence Montreal's going to do well against Tampa Bay either. And I don't know. And hey, listen, I ain't even going to sleep on the Senators this year, really. The Senators could be a playoff team by 2023. We'll see. But, you know, I don't know where you go here from Montreal. You had your run. You lost. You can't rebuild, but you can't really get stronger. I mean, you could get stronger defensively, but is that going to be enough to even make a playoff spot? I think you're saying, oh, okay, if they don't make the top 4, they can be a wild card. That Metropolitan Division is scary. I'd say right now, both wild card spots in the East are going to Metropolitan teams. So you're looking at right now, and if I'm Montreal, I am generally be proud of the season, but I would be generally scared about the future. You may want to keep the core around for too long. I heard they may re-sign Corey Perry, which I get Corey Perry's good when you're a playoff team. Having Corey Perry in 2021, yeah, he had a good playoffs, but he did next to nothing in the regular season. No, he was even put on waivers at the beginning of the season. Well, enough of the finals talk. Congrats on Tampa Bay for winning their second ring. Now, for the first few topics here, obviously because I haven't actually done this talk show in a few weeks, just been live broadcasts and stuff, we're going to recap a little bit of some older news, beginning with stuff that happened about 2 weeks ago, roughly. Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer was placed on 7-day leave of administration due to recent sexual assault allegations. Yeah, he hasn't came back since this news broke, and I would be genuinely terrified if I was the Dodgers right now. You are throwing all of that money on a very good pitcher, and not only are you losing a great talent, but you are losing quite a chunk of that money. Now, is Justin Turner going to come back after next year? I don't know, but you really got to pay people like Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger. You got to give these guys raises. You got to fix that bullpen for another World Series championship. You are going to squander so much money if they lose Trevor Bauer here. It is ridiculous. Trevor Bauer's contract is 3 years, $102 million, with bonus guaranteed money. You're throwing over $100 million for a guy who potentially played half the season and could potentially never come back in the MLB again. Here's my issue. At first, I'm thinking to myself, listen, this is probably a publicity stunt. Bauer's going to be all right. He's going to be back in a couple of weeks. It's going to be false allegations. The more the news comes out, the more threatening texts he made, the more times he apparently wants to sexual assault this woman. He's screwed. There is no way dancing around it. Trevor Bauer, if guilty, which right now it looks like he will be guilty with these charges, he could be potentially looking at the end of a fantastic career. Now, Trevor Bauer was always never one of my favorite players. When he was on the Indians, I was like, okay. Then he was on the Reds and committing quite a bit of temper tantrums last season, but he has the talent to be a top 15 pitcher in the MLB on a regular yearly basis. And that could potentially be thrown away now because he got himself in trouble. That's the moral of the story here. He got himself into trouble. He may not be able to come back from that. Other news, free agent wide receiver Josh Gordon will once again appeal for reinstatement. Gordon's been randomly drug tested the past 3 months, and he tested clean all 3 times. Now, here's what I got to say about Josh Gordon. I like Josh Gordon as a player. His talent is absolutely tremendous. Why? And I mean why. The NFL got to do something here. You either got to let Josh Gordon play and quit suspending him, or you quit bringing him back. I am done with this Josh Gordon getting reinstated every year, and they bring him back. He plays 2 random games and then gets suspended again. Enough's enough with this guy. You either allow him to do whatever he wants, within reason, of course, like back when he was smoking weed and stuff. You let him, smoke weed or whatever. If it's against your rule policy, quit bringing him back. Or you just let it slide. And you just say, whatever. But obviously, if you just sit back and you're just like, all right, Gordon is clearly, not following our guidelines, but we're going to keep him in the league anyway. Well, that's a black eye for the league. The NFL is in an awful spot no matter what you look at it. In my personal opinion, you got to quit giving Josh Gordon chances. I know in 2018 he stepped away because of issues, but every other time besides 2018 was suspended. Right there, 2019 season with the Seahawks, played 3 games, suspended indefinitely until a couple weeks ago when he reinstated again. This guy keeps on getting reinstated for 2 years at a time. There is no need to bring him back. Keep bringing him back. Keep bringing him back. There's no need for that. Yes, Josh Gordon actually is, when healthy, a top probably 30 receiver in the NFL, and I'm being dead serious. This guy has the talent. But why does the NFL keep bringing him chance after chance after chance? It makes no sense because the guy, what? You bring him back, get signed, plays 2 or 3 games, get suspended again. He should have been banned from the NFL back in 2017. The fact that he keeps on getting chance after chance is just driving me nuts. And then you see other people get suspended and they come back. It's just ridiculous. It's gotten to the point where, Montez Perfect, although he's a free agent, he's basically kicked out of the league because no team's going to want to sign him now. Same thing should be with Josh Gordon. Now, have him be a free agent all you want, but maybe whenever a team tries to sign him, you step in the way. I don't know what you do here, but in my personal opinion, it's time to stop giving Josh Gordon chances. Getting way too much chances. All right. The Wild re-signed center Joel Eriksson to an 8-year, $42 million contract. Listen, young player, basically first-line center. I understand why they made the signing. $42 million is not worth 30 points. Shortened season, so it probably gets more like 45 points in a regular 82-game season. But I can't say I agree with this contract because you're still paying Suter and Parise for a couple more years. You still need to pay Kaprizov, and Matt Dumba may want out soon. And it looks like you're also going to be losing anyway. The Wild just put themselves in such a bad spot. It sucks because they are just he's a good talent. And he's a good offensive player with decent defensive potential. But $42 million, in my opinion, is a bit too much. I don't know. I don't know what you do here if you're Minnesota, other than just hope you re-sign Kaprizov. That's what you got to do if you're Minnesota. All right, next up. Oh God, why? Where did I add this to my topics for? Zach Wilson, Jets rookie QB, willing to pay his mother to leave Instagram after she ranted about COVID-19 protocols in Disney. Oh boy. So, Zach, I know you may feel embarrassed of what your mother thinks of Disney World. And I know you might be like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. Get off of social media. I get it, but you don't do it. You don't say that. Let's be real. The second you say it, the media is going to hear about it anyway, but man, it's your mother. Give her some respect. Yeah, this was very unfortunate news. Matthias Kellings, Blue Jackets goaltender, passed away. At first it looked like, he got hit in the head, so he was traumatized. Then apparently it was some firework misusage. It just sucks because the guy is 24 years old and he was ready to be the Blue Jackets' backup goaltender next season. The Blue Jackets were literally ready to trade away either Korpisalo or Merzlinskins this offseason. I think actually Elvis Merzlinskins was the odd man out. They were ready to trade Merzlinskins to have this guy be the star, and just passes away at a 4th of July party. It's just awful. The San Francisco Giants have revealed their new city uniforms. They actually made the debut of this last night. I like it. It's not awful. They could have done better. I'm not going to complain, though. I like the red and orange, making it look like it's fire. I think that's cool. The cap looks pretty cool. But at the same time, the jerseys look a little bit too white. I'm maybe being nitpicky. I don't know, but not awful jerseys. They're not great. I like I rather buy the Diamondbacks uniform that they unveiled last month. I think that one looks better. The Boston Strong jerseys, one from Boston, so that's probably why. The Hawks extended head coach Nate McMillan to a 4-year deal. Listen, this guy was kind of underwhelming with the Pacers, but you're not going to just fire an interim head coach after going to the Eastern Conference Finals, making a pretty entertaining series against the Bucks. You aren't going to fire him, and you're not going to keep him as an assistant. This guy at least has head coaching experience, so I like this move for the Hawks. He's a young team, maybe just need a new scenery. Who knows? I think the Hawks are in the same boat as the Canadians, although they were in the regular divisions this year. But, yeah, I think this was not their one chance because, the core's still young. Obviously, Trae Young's, 23, 24? I think it's 24, 25, actually. But, I just don't know how quick the Hawks will be back. Yes, I agree with Jags Union there. Well-deserved indeed. All right, this is actually kind of cool. Raiders tight end Darren Waller is offered to help mentor Jaguars tight end Tim Tebow after Tebow wasn't invited to the first tight end university. Okay, this is actually pretty cool. I like this a lot, actually. This, of course, as a Jaguar fan, I'm thrilled to hear this news. That was the one thing the Jaguars did not do all offseason was address the tight end position. Other than signing Chris Matez, but he's a blocking tight end. He ain't going to get much receptions. And I love James O'Shaughnessy, but he is just so injury prone. It is ridiculous. Not that I think Tim Tebow's going to do any better than James O'Shaughnessy, but I think he will stay a little bit more healthy. And honestly, if I had to give a projection of a Tebow stat line, probably be 15 catches for 260 yards and a touchdown. That's probably going to be Tim Tebow's stat line for this year. But in all honesty, this is good for Darren Waller. I guess, he reached out to Tebow, was like, hey, I'll help you out. Tebow accepted, and we'll see if Tebow becomes the next Darren Waller. I doubt it, but who knows? All right, the Marlins pitcher, Sixto Sanchez, will undergo season-ending surgery on his right shoulder. He will be ready by spring training, though, for next season, which is good. Sixto Sanchez has been a very good pitcher for the Marlins this year. The Marlins are in last place in the NL East. He had a 3-2 record, and in 7 games, he allowed 36 hits, but had 33 strikeouts, along with an ERA of plus 132, which isn't, necessarily awful. And he finished 7th in Rookie of the Year. So, this guy was very impressive last season. We'll see what he can do come back from this injury. But, the guy has been pretty solid. So, at least he was pretty good last year. So, we'll see what happens. The Wild re-signed center Nick Bjugstad to a 1-year, $900,000 deal. Listen, Nick Bjugstad is good. And the reason why I'm not giving this contract gripe compared to the Erickson Ek contract is, because Bjugstad is a solid third, fourth liner. If they were paying him over $1.5 million, I would be like, this is an overpayment. Sure, it could be more money thrown towards Kaprizov, but you need more than 2 lines to win a playoff series. Ask the Capitals, so that worked out for them. You got to, or the Penguins, you got to establish at least a solid 4 lines. Nick Bjugstad is a good role player. He was his rookie year, 14, 15. Spent some years on the Panthers, spent some time on the Penguins. Now he's on the Wild, ready to go for his second season. Just being a decent third liner. So, good for Bjugstad. All right. Devils re-signed goaltender Scott Wedgwood to a 1-year, 2-way deal worth $1.2 million. It's really like $850,000 with signing bonuses. Why does Scott Wedgwood not have a 1-way contract? It's ridiculous. Dude, this guy has shown that he is capable to be in the NHL. And I get it. He played in the Lightning and the Coyotes. And this was actually his first year with the Devils. And actually, you will look at his base statistics and say, well, he sucks. He has 3 wins, 8 losses, 2 shootout losses. Actually, rather, 2 shootout losses, 2 shutouts, a 311 goals against average, and just a 900 save percentage. And his overall career record is 10, 18, and 8 with 4 shutouts, a 902 save percentage, and 307 goals against. I'm going to tell you this. Go watch game film on Scott Wedgwood. And I want you to tell me what defense he has in front of him, other than Jonas Singenthaler. We'll get to that re-signing in a bit. What defense does he have? PK Subban is not an answer. It's just frustrating. If you're Blackwood, you're at least, pretty good. And you're just kind of getting screwed over because of bad defense. The offense is fine. The defense is starting to blossom, and that's good for New Jersey. Kevin Ballin, good defenseman for New Jersey. He'll be ready to go pretty much in a couple years. Same thing with David Quinville. He's just got some ice time now, but he'll be ready when the time comes. Ryan Murray, underachieved. PK Subban, been underachieving. Matt Thompson, arguably the worst defenseman this year in the entire Atlantic Division. Yeah. Listen, Wedgwood, this guy can make about 25 to 30 stops easily a night. He will allow a weak goal here or there. I'm not really praising him that, he's the best goalie in the league. Obviously, Mackenzie Blackwood has shown, though, that he's been decent. Yeah, I got to say for sure that oh, no. I'm a blank on his name. Oh, my God. Mackenzie Blackwood. That's him. No, Scott Westwood. Yeah. Mackenzie Blackwood's going to be the starter. I'm getting all confused. Mackenzie Blackwood. That was thinking of too many players. Get the Wedgwood and the Scottwood confused. Whatever. Wedgwood's a good goalie, too. And Mackenzie Blackwood is the goalie one. That's what I'm trying to say. Before I get myself even more confused here. All right. Dodgers signed pitcher Neftel Flez to a minor league deal. Listen. This was the pitcher the Texas Rangers had on the mound where he blew it to David Freese. And his career has kind of gone downhill. Made the All-Star game in 2010, and that's about it. But he signed a minor league deal with the Dodgers. He's probably staying in AAA. Maybe he won't. I don't know. But, yeah. We'll see. I'm staying in AAA. All right. This was bad. This is bad. Okay. Nikhil Harry. We gotta have a talk. This was one of the most ridiculous things I've seen out of an NFL player. You are the most underachieved wide receiver in the entire 2019 draft class. You are on the Patriots with QB controversy. You have dropped over 30 of your passes. You have ran 25% of your routes correctly. And you have the guts to demand a trade. Oh, no, you didn't. I just want to let everyone know here that Nikhil Harry, if he ain't on the Patriots practice squad, I don't know what to say. Other than, unless he's a wide receiver 3 on a team like the Lions or the Saints, this guy, he's just going to be a practice squatter. And listen, I got New England hasn't necessarily done a good job developing wide receivers other than Julian Edelman. And maybe another one that I might be missing out on. Well, primarily Edelman. It's the only one that panned out. And like Bryce Tompkins. No. I think about another receiver. And there's even really handling receivers in general. Like Demaryius Thomas. Like he was good on the Patriots, but they released him. Patriots, of course, traded for Mohamed Sanu in 2019. That wasn't good. Of course, Chad Ochocinco flopped when he joined the Patriots back in like 2012. You get what I'm saying. The Patriots have never really done a good job developing wide receivers. Like unless your name is Edelman, Hogan, or Amendola, and maybe Brandon Cooks for his 1 year. What have they done? Malcolm Mitchell, that was the guy I was thinking of. He was another Patriot receiver that they drafted that. Well, he retired early because of concussions, but even then, he still wasn't outstanding. He was just your average wide receiver 4. Jacoby Myers is looking good. I'll get a future gauge on him. Gunnar Olszewski also looking good, but again, he's more of a special teamer. But N'Keal Harry, though, this guy's supposed to be the wide receiver one, like, this year. He's entering into his third year. And listen, he's one of the most underwhelming receivers in the entire league. He was ranked the 99th best receiver in the league. 99th, not player. Wide receiver. 99th. Essentially, you have N'Keal Harry, maybe one or two other below starters or rookies that are unproven, and the practice squad players. And I think if I remember correctly, there was a couple practice squad players and free agents that were higher than N'Keal Harry. And this guy demands a trade instead of shutting up, earning a spot on the roster, and trying to prove himself and his doubters wrong. And he just sits there and he's like, I'm going to request a trade. And I don't know if it was N'Keal Harry's agent that was like, request a trade. I don't know. I don't know. But if it was either Harry's agent or Harry himself, bad move. Should have just kept on trying to fight for that roster spot. Keep going. At least wait and see how the preseason goes. Of course, he requested a trade after the Patriots said he wasn't a guaranteed lock on the roster for next year because, well, he's been underachieving. All right. The Blue Jays trade first baseman Rowdy Tellez to the Brewers for pitchers Trevor Richards and Bowden Francis. Now, actually, the Blue Jays are getting two solid pitchers. Tyler Chatwood is a disgrace to that bullpen. I saw it firsthand when I went to Fenway Park a month ago. Listen, the guy just hasn't been good since he left the Cubs. And to be completely honest, Toronto is there. They have the hitting core to be a playoff team. Do they have the pitching? I don't know. And to be quite frankly honest, I don't think they do. And I think that's why they made this trade. Because Rowdy Tellez is obviously a solid player. But with how stacked Toronto's farm system is, they're okay. They don't necessarily need Tellez. Although it would be nice to keep him for future playoff runs. You can work around that or target someone at free agency or make like a blockbuster trade for a first baseman. But, so really, both teams win this trade. Or Milwaukee, you're just making your infield better. You're just furthering your chances of keeping your division lead, lock up a playoff spot. Now, obviously, the trade deadline's not until 2 weeks, so this isn't going to be the last kind of major trade we're going to see from the MLB this year. But Rowdy Tellez, though, I've been thoroughly impressed with Tellez. Let's see here. Tellez has already got, actually, looks like with the Brewers, he has one hit in 4 games, which really one hit in 8 plate appearances. That's whatever. In his career, he has 168 hits for 37 home runs. Of course, 30 hits for 4 home runs this year. Of course, playing on the Blue Jays from 2018 until he got traded to Milwaukee 4 days ago. And, overall, Tellez has been decent. He's been a good first baseman / designated hitter, of course. But, I don't know. I just hope he gets more at-bats because he's also a pretty good base runner. And from a first baseman to a catcher, White Sox catcher Yasmani Grandal missed 4 to 6 weeks with a torn tendon in his left knee. Now, this sucks for the White Sox, obviously. Here goes a potentially best catcher in the entire league. Yasmani Grandal. He's last made the All-Star game with the Brewers back in 2019. 32 years old, but here's the thing. He hasn't slowed down. Although, yeah, he hasn't made the All-Star game in a few years. He still hasn't slowed down. 34 hits, 14 home runs. The 188 batting average doesn't look good, but in general, his numbers look all right. In his career, 744 hits, 163 home runs. This guy's just consistent. When healthy, he's consistent. And that's going to stink, obviously, for Chicago. We'll see what happens. All right, Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau defeated Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson 4-3 during the 2021 Capital One's The Match. The golf match. That, man, I got to be completely real with you. I didn't think Tom Brady was this bad at golf. Like, I remember watching a few of his holes. Brady was awful. I thought he was a much better golfer than what he actually was. It just really kind of stinks. But, because I actually picked Brady and Mickelson to win. But, I'm proud of Bryson DeChambeau, though. The guy's 27. And, yeah. He's got a bright golf future ahead of him. Aaron Rodgers played well. And very funny, hearing Gronk talking to Tom Brady and hearing Aaron Rodgers just like, am I going to return to the Packers? I don't know yet. We'll see. It's like, Aaron Rodgers, man, give it up. You're coming back. We know it. We know you're coming back, Aaron. Quit trying to hide it. All right. On to other NFL news and news that makes me very happy. NFL Red Zone isn't going anywhere. That's right. The NFL and NFL Red Zone host Scott Hanson have agreed to a multi-year deal. Yes, and more. Yes, 7 hours of commercial-free football is going nowhere. And let me tell you something. Red Zone is the reason why I love football as much as I do today. When I was younger, I always liked football, but the issue was the commercial breaks. Killed me. I liked hockey because 3 commercial breaks, you're done. Baseball, commercial breaks, only when you have a pitching change or an inning change. That's fine. Basketball, commercial breaks are fine. Give about 3 or 4 commercial breaks. A half. That's fine. But, or a quarter, rather. But for the NFL, we have an injury to a team's in the red zone. Injury timeout, commercial break. They score a touchdown, kick the extra point, commercial break. Kickoff, commercial break. That is 3 commercial breaks in the span of 3 plays. And that, as a kid, obviously, drove me nuts. I was like, man, I can't watch football if we're just going to have commercial breaks every 3 minutes. And then came the discovery of Red Zone. 2014, this is like my first year when I actually started caring about football. My first true season being a Jaguars fan and stuff. I flip on Red Zone, and I'm like, where's the commercials? Like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, cool. Game's going to commercial break. I'm like, all right, where's the commercial? And then all of a sudden it switches to like the Dolphins game or something. I think it was like Dolphins and Colts or something. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was the Dolphins game. And I was just like, wait a minute, where's the commercial? I'm like, wait a minute, we're just seeing football until all the games end? Whoa, crazy, right? And then, that's how I pretty much fell in love with football. And I have to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever missed an episode of Red Zone since 2015. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen the whole 7 hours. I do watch full games, obviously, and commentate full games. But whenever I'm not watching a full game or whatever, I'm watching Red Zone. Just quick fixes, They get you the news they need. They give you proper injury updates. You have Scott Hanson going crazy whenever a game's about to end, along with pretty good analysis on Scott Hanson's part as well. Good, overall, great re-signing. All right, the White Sox, Philadelphia, they're Adam Eaton. All right, I can't say I'm really surprised here. Eaton was okay on the Nationals a couple of years ago. He's been aging, and honestly, Father Time's just catching up to him quickly. I do like Adam Eaton a lot. He is definitely a player who I've shown in the past that he's pretty good. I mean, I can't really say Father Time showed up to him because he's only 32. But he has slowed down a little bit. I mean, 38 hits, 5 home runs. Not awful, but yeah, not great. Don't talk about Cole's shutout. We'll talk about Garrett Cole's shutout against the Astros. We'll talk about a lot of stuff last night because I also want to give my little opinion on a UFC fight. But regardless, I mean, getting DFA just kind of sucks. Kind of another minor MLB news. D. Strange Gordon, minor league deal with the Pirates after opting out of his contract with the Cubs. We're not going to go fully in depth on that one. The Rays beat the Indians 4-0 on Thursday. I'm not going to really talk about much about this other than, again, 7-inning no-hitters are no-hitters. I don't care what anyone says. They are counted as actual no-hitters. Count it. We would have 10 perfect games this year. It's ridiculous. Or, well, rather no-hitters. We haven't had a perfect game yet, but drives me nuts. MLB has just let 3 or 4 no-hitters squander. And it drives me crazy. You cannot tell me that just because you have a 7-inning doubleheader, that means, well, this doesn't count as a no-hitter. If you complete a game without any of the pitchers allowing a hit, it is a no-hitter. And that is why if you walk a man, it's a perfect game. You have different scenarios for your rules, and that I get. But for the love of all that is holy, I love the 7-inning doubleheader idea. I absolutely love it. But when they don't count the no-hitters, it drives me nuts. If you complete a game without allowing a hit, it's a no-hitter. You can put it in the history book saying it was a 7-inning doubleheader. That's fine. Count as a no-hitter. Also, Indians, that was the 3rd time you were no-hit this year. You suck. Get out of the AL Central. Just stay in last. I don't care about the Indians anymore. It's driving me crazy getting no-hit left and right. All right. Blues All-Star Vladimir Tarasenko officially requested a trade due to doctors and staff not properly treating his shoulder injuries back in 2018-19. Blues, you have 2019, but what else do you have other than your championship? I mean, Tarasenko is on the cover of NHL 18. Cool. He scored a sick goal back in 2015, which is the only reason why he's even popular. Cool. Where do you go? You win a cup, you get blown out in the playoffs back-to-back years, and now you're done. The Central, it's going to be a tough division. Dallas, I think they're going to bounce back in a full 82-game season. Nashville, they're going to be so much better than the Blues next year based off of how I saw their urgency late in the season during their playoff series against Carolina. Nashville looking like they're going to be great next year. And obviously the Avalanche are going to be staying in first. The Wild are decent. They'll probably finish second. And the Blackhawks. At this point, the Blackhawks just have a better bottom 6 than you do. What do you have other than Tarasenko right now? Justin Falk, an angry Colton Parayko, and Ryan O'Reilly. Listen. Oh, and an overpaid Jordan Binnington, because I can't forget about Binnington. 6x6 contract. Let that sink in. This is the exact same thing what the 2015 Blackhawks did, the 2018 Capitals did. You kept the core together, and now it's coming due. You are going to become a basement dweller. I say give it 2 years. The Blues are going to be awful. Why? Because they had to throw all their money at Jordan Binnington, and apparently their team doctors could care less about their franchise right winger. And hell, Tarasenko is the best St. Louis Blues player the Blues have ever had since the 80s. maybe 90 if you count Chris Pronger. It's like, dude, you ruined him. You had your franchise guy, and you ruined him. Way to go. But enough shuck and blasting the Blues. We'll move on to the Trailblazers. Oh, goody, my favorite basketball team. Well, I got Scott Brooks as their leading assistant. That's their leading assistant. Okay. Not bad. Good player. I like him. Good players coach. Didn't have much success in Washington. He wasn't an awful coach. For an assistant, he'll be decent, so I ain't worried about that. All right. This I'm just announcing because it's hysterical. Blues right winger. Yeah, slow down. Lightning right winger Nikita Kucherov signs with Bud Light for future sponsorship. Nice. Just nice. Good signing by Bud Light. All right. Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark has been charged with felony possession of an illegal firearm that occurred back on June 20th. Clark could face up to 3 years of prison if convicted. Same thing's going on for Tavius Mingo, which we'll get to in a little bit. Way to go. You were one of the best defensive ends in the entire NFL. And now you blew your shot. And if you get arrested, you are in serious trouble. Putting your life in jeopardy, family in jeopardy, your career in jeopardy, a good decency in jeopardy. My goodness. Ridiculous. Shame on Frank Clark. All right, the National Center infielder Derek Dietrich to a minor league deal. Arguably the funniest player in the MLB. The Yankees didn't really use him. National signed him after he terminated his Yankees contract, which is fine. I like this player a lot. Pretty good designated hitter. And again, he can be an infielder as well. I think he has more of a chance of playing with Washington than he does with New York. All right. Moving on to yesterday's news. The Flyers are planning to move on from Jacob Voracek. Remember, Voracek is eligible in the Seattle expansion draft, which Alex and I will be doing our Kraken expansion draft predictions, our final Kraken predictions this Wednesday on Power Skate. Voracek, he's probably going there because let's be real. The Kraken, they will need a veteran who can easily play on the first line. Voracek can play on the first line for sure. It makes sense. I mean, it'll be an $8.5 million salary cap hit, but you can work around it. If you're Seattle, you can work around it because obviously, once you get the whole minor team, affiliate figured out, and you actually have a roster. Kraken are going to make trades too. I think that's the other thing we got to know. The Kraken are going to make trades. They're going to make trades to get younger. They're going to make a lot of moves that seem like they don't make sense, but in a couple of years they do. You keep with someone like Jacob Voracek till he's around 36, 37. I think you do it for the Kraken. He'll probably end up being the captain too, if to get picked. All right, Washington football team president Jason Wright has announced that Washington will have a permanent name and logo in 2022. Now, when he says he'll have a permanent name and logo, does he mean he's just keeping the Washington football team forever? Something tells me that it's going to actually take a little bit longer to get a name, unless they really just figured out something. But I don't know why you'd really announce it unless you kind of had it set in stone. Which, if you did have it set in stone, why are you waiting until next year to do it? I don't know. But I will give credit to Washington, though. At least they've finally shown progress in wanting to change the team name. Which is good. Good for them. This is just very unfortunate news. Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr. was carted off the field during last night's game against the Marlins with the right leg injury. Later test showing torn ACL. The All-Star is out for the year. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Very unfortunate. yeah, it's just a moment of silence because that just sucks. Braves are still fine. Listen, they still got Freddie Freeman. They still have a decent bullpen. But without Acuna, it's going to be tough to see what they can do in the postseason. That's their leadoff man going out. Yeah, Ozzy Albies is going to step up. Yeah, Freddie Freeman's going to step up. Now the Flowers, but you need your all-star in the playoffs, and that's going to suck for Atlanta. And I don't know if they can overcome the Acuna injury. All right, Falcons have released linebacker Tavius Mingo after his arrest for child indecency. Yep, no surprises here. After it was announced yesterday afternoon that he was convicted and he was going to court, we knew he was getting released. Just like Frank Clark, shame on him. Absolute moron wasting his career. All right, now get to the news that occurred today. A Red Sox extended all-star pitcher Matt Barnes to a 2-year deal worth $18.75 million with a club option for 2024. This is an outstanding re-signing for the Red Sox. Matt Barnes has been playing well all game long, all season long, really. He's only allowed one hit in his last 3 games. To be completely honest with you, his stats for the season, worthy of his second All-Star appearance. 4-2, 2.68 ERA. And he has 62 strikeouts to 12 hits. That is just outstanding. 62 strikeouts and 37 innings pitched for a closer. That's pretty good, and that is extension worthy. All right, and the last thing of the day here, before I go talk about the Conor McGregor versus Poor fight, and then I'm out of here. Blues have shown interest in Flames left winger John Gaudreau, which means we could potentially see a Gaudreau and Tarasenko swap. I mean, it benefits the Flames. It kind of benefits the Blues too. Especially if they could switch Gaudreau to the right wing. I don't know. That would be an even trade for both teams, I guess. So now on to our last topic. Porter versus McGregor. This is the first UFC fight I've seen in like 2 years. Watching the pay-per-view, some kid from Massachusetts made his debut. Took a beating, but fought incredibly. The women's match was all right. That lasted about 3-4 minutes. Griffin, I'm blanking on his first name, but he won his match. Then you have Porter versus McGregor. This is round 3. They're 1-1. Of course, Porter won 8 months ago. So he's got the momentum. He's favored to win the match. McGregor comes out hot, misses a couple of kicks. And then, they both throw punches for a couple of minutes. Now, McGregor is about to put Porter in his signature headlock, but Porter uses the cage to make sure that McGregor can't get his submission hold locked in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't use the cage to your advantage unless you're just going to, slam someone against the cage, and obviously that's okay. But you can't use the cage to keep your balance and prevent a fighter from using or from, completing his headlock pretty much. So after that happens, Porter kind of switched the whole momentum of the match, really beating down McGregor for the final, couple of minutes. And then with 5 seconds left in the first round, McGregor steps back, breaks his leg. And he still took punches after that, which is incredible too. Porter, I don't think he saw the injury, so the second McGregor fell down. He was just like, yeah, I'm going to go keep on, beating the heck out of him, right? But it obviously is unfortunate because not only did, you wait all that time, spend all that money to see McGregor only fight for 5 minutes, but that could be a career ender. 32 years old. He's on a 3-match losing streak. That could have been the end of the Notorious. I hope it's not because he's actually he probably is actually my favorite MMA fighter, so I hope he's not done. But let's be real. I think it could be over for him. Now, Poirier wins via doctor decision. So, okay, he wins. They trash talk and whatever. I want to say McGregor will be back, but I gotta be honest with you. I don't think it's gonna be. I think this is the end. Dustin Poirier's gonna pretty much win that round, win that matchup 2-1. And honestly, good for him because Evan Porter was also 32. It looks like unlike McGregor, he ain't gonna be slowing down anytime soon. And listen, I know McGregor fans are going to be like, well, technically, it shouldn't have been. The only gripe I have with the match was that it shouldn't end in a knockout. But listen, for the McGregor fans saying, it should be a no decision, I see what you mean. But at the same time, McGregor was going to lose anyway. And clearly, Poirier won that. He won that entire first round. Like, let's be real. Other than the first 2 minutes, Poirier clobbered McGregor that entire round. I get you wanted me no decision, but it was the right call. Poirier won, and congrats to him. And for McGregor, I don't know what he does. Hopefully he comes back. I hope he does, but if he doesn't, I wouldn't be all too surprised. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed Season 1, Episode 16 of Floodsters Sports Zone. Episode 17 coming out next Sunday. We'll see. Maybe I'll recap the news. Maybe there's a sports game on I'll do. We'll see. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Grant Fluff from Floodsters Sports Zone saying enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Go Conor McGregor. He'll be back. Hopefully. We'll see. But enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And my next broadcast will be, I don't know, maybe I'll try to commentate another Red Sox game sometime this week. For sure. See you then.